The information provided in this podcast episode is for entertainment purposes and is not medical advice. If you have any questions about your health, contact a medical professional. This content is strictly the opinions of Lucas Owen and is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The references, claims, and scientific information linked to any products are only applicable to those listeners who are based in the US. If you are outside the US, this information does not apply to you. It is not intended to provide medical advice or to take the place of medical advice or treatment from a personal physician. All viewers of this content are advised to consult with their doctors or qualified health professionals regarding specific health questions. Thank you for listening to the Boost Your Biology podcast. My name is Lucas Owen. I uncover the most cutting-edge health information on the planet, ranging from hormones, nutrition, supplementation, fat loss, biohacking, longevity, wellness, and a whole lot more. Welcome to the Boost Your Biology podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Your Biology podcast. Today, I have two supremely special guests joining me on the show. We have Raymond and Lydia. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much for having us, Lucas. We're excited to be on.
Thanks, Lucas. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So just to put it into context, today's discussion is really going to be centered around the benefits of NMN supplementation and the many associated benefits associated with boosting NAD levels in the body. But before we get into that, let's start out with your personal story and journey. How did you guys get so fascinated into, optimizing human health?
So we both started Genetic Labs Australia. I suppose, have you heard about the theory of driven or dragged? It's a theory of motivation.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So we have a lot of degenerative diseases within our families. My uncle has early onset Alzheimer's disease, and my husband, Ramon, he is the full-time carer for him. So we live with him even now 4 days a week and care for him. So it was so debilitating that Ramon was just desperate to search for something that could support him in minimizing all of his symptoms, but also for us as a preventative measure. So that's when he found NMN. I suppose you started ordering it online and found that there was a huge gap in quality and kind of what was available, and finding a brand that was really trustworthy as well. That's how it all kind of kicked off, and it just snowballed into.
And then, obviously aging is a disease too, I believe. So it's all about, looking at what the hallmarks are, how it works. And obviously the degenerative disease like Alzheimer's or even all the other main diseases are linked somewhere with, the problem with having low NAD. So by going down that rabbit hole and searching into how it works, what the mechanisms are, how the sirtuins work, I was very fascinated. And then to see that, other people were getting results from what I've seen, we wanted to try it. So we did. And then, we've just perfected it with the best quality that we could get. Obviously going through all the TGA regulations to get us on.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. And I think it's also worthwhile mentioning, from my early research looking into the benefits of boosting NAD, I remember coming across it and being like, this is going to be big in the next 5 to 10 years. And, we've seen some other very well-known health educators, David Sinclair, Dr. Andrew Huberman. All of these guys have spoken favorably about the benefits of increasing NAD levels. And there's different methods of doing that. You can do it either through intravenous form, you can do oral capsule form, you can do liquid form. But I was really interested in its ability to support energy levels. And just to put a big disclaimer out there, none of this information is medical advice. For those listening in, this is purely just for research purposes. But in terms of some of the classical effects that people report when they use NMN, and I'd imagine you've got hundreds of customer satisfaction testimonials. Do you want to sort of share what people have said about using NMN?
We've got some incredible feedback from our customers when they supplement NMN. So we have people who are in their 60s or, 65 years old who are training for the Paris Marathon, and they attribute being able to stay under the 4-hour mark due to supplementing our NMN. So we get these kind of feedback all the time about people having increased libido, endurance, strength, and also being able to sleep better. So a lot of people who have chronic insomnia have reported that that's almost disappeared. So yeah, incredible
And like
feedback.
there was one old lady that gave a review about saying about her and her husband can walk around the block now, like they have more,
Wow.
energy, more sustained energy to do those sort of things. And hearing that's awesome for us because that's what we want.
Yeah, it's incredible feedback.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, from my own personal experience, I mean, I used NMN about probably 4 years ago when the first time I tried it. I couldn't actually sleep that night. I was so energetic, and
Wow.
I
You
guess
take
because
it
I
too
was,
late.
yeah, and also because I like being a young healthy man, like young healthy man, like as my levels were probably quite high at the time. But
Yeah.
from my father's experience, my dad's experience, he has seen through his blood testing, through blood work, an improvement in various blood testing results, like reduction in inflammation.
Yeah.
And so there's been some pretty widespread benefits associated with supplementing with NMN. In terms of the dosages that you typically recommend for customers, what have you suggested so far?
So our recommended dose on our label is 500 milligrams. There's tests with starting at 125 milligrams that showed to increase NAD. So yeah, anywhere from 125 up to 300 is noticeable. 500 is the ideal dose. That's what we recommend.
Do you recommend they supplement that with food or without?
I personally, and a lot of our feedback is before the first meal. So say an hour or so before having the first meal. So upon wake up.
Yeah, awesome. And I think just from like a biological perspective, like a biological explanation, I mean, did you want to sort of maybe get into some of the actual science behind what are the actual benefits associated with boosting the body's production of NAD?
So NMN is, well, the reason why we manufacture NMN is because NAD is such a big molecule and it can be taken intravenously. This does take quite a long time. It can be quite painful if administered too quickly as well. So NMN, as you take NMN, it converts to NAD within the body. This is found to be super effective. It's very highly bioavailable as well. So it converts really effectively to NAD, and this is shown in all the blood work and tests, like you mentioned, that your father has had done as well. I suppose on the chain, so there is NR as well. So there's NR, which is nicotinamide riboside, NMN, which is next on the chain, and then NAD. So you can take NR or NMN, which will convert to NAD. But if you do take NR, it does rely on a phosphate to be converted to NAD within the body. This is why all the research has shown that that NMN is probably better converted to NAD within the body, which is why we chose to manufacture NMN.
Yeah, you're one step away from NAD, so NMN is the direct precursor to NAD.
And it's definitely a reliable way. We've got pretty good human clinical trials now looking at how supplementing oral, because there's always a big debate around supplements, whether or not they're actually, the term is bioavailable, so whether they're orally bioavailable. And the good thing is that with supplementing oral NMN capsules, it does appear to increase NAD levels in healthy humans. Which is a really exciting effect. And in terms of like maybe with your customers and clientele, like what are they typically combining NMN with? Are they stacking it with other compounds you're seeing?
Yeah, so lots of our customers, they purchase our berberine as well. Have you heard of berberine before?
Yeah, big fan.
Have you taken berberine before? Do you supplement it at all?
So I've started, yes, I learned about berberine again number of years ago, and in the context of lowering blood sugar, improving insulin sensitivity,
Yeah.
potentially helping with dropping body fat. I've seen a lot of athletes drop body fat pretty quickly on that. So yeah, it's super powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, they're calling berberine nature's metformin now. So in Australia, it's not always the easiest thing to get a script for metformin, but we manufacture berberine as well. So that's been around for 3,000 years, I believe, in Chinese medicine. It's comes from a dry root. This has been shown to, well, at least in our customers or the feedback that they've given us, it works almost synergistically, I think, because it works on different pathways. So the AMPK pathway as well as the insulin pathway as well for longevity. NMN works on the insulin pathway too, but also on sirtuins. So they believe that combining both of these supplements together has a better effect than taking them singularly. That's the feedback we've had anyway, which is great.
And curbing the blood sugar spikes is, closely correlated to, heart disease and all that sort of stuff. So by eliminating those big spikes, that's where the longevity side of it comes in. And there's some good studies on it.
Well, this is an important point you bring up, is the importance of having stable blood sugar levels throughout the day. I know it sounds very boring. It's like no one really wants to hear this, but it really is so important, because if your blood sugar is constantly spiking, what's happening is the hormone insulin is pumped out.
Yeah.
That hormone, puts the handbrakes on fat loss. So if you're constantly, releasing insulin, it's going to be detrimental. And also in terms of from a longevity perspective, we want to keep insulin levels relatively low as we age, because, this increase in insulin resistance that occurs over time can, promote, can facilitate aging to a degree. So I want to also mention around, we should sort of also backtrack and explain NAD levels can actually decline with age, and NAD levels can decline through excessive inflammation and oxidative stress. So did you want to sort of expand upon maybe reasons why NAD levels might be declining?
So yeah, as you said, inflammation is a big one. And then all sort of the cell degeneration from aging causes NAD. And also NAD is the main fuel for the sirtuins. So they go out to repair our body and to do the repair process, especially with our DNA. So by using up a lot of the NAD, the sirtuins can't do their job properly. So by the sirtuins working properly, they need high levels of NAD. And as you said, with age, it declines. So I think it's about 30 to 40 years old, you start to see a steep decline. And then, by taking the precursor NNM, which increases NAD, has been shown to help these sirtuins and to help the functions, to read your DNA better, to rejuvenate cells, to help with the mitochondria. And all these things are obviously linked and closely drawn to longevity.
It should be noted as well that NAD is so important that without NAD in our bodies, we would be dead within 30 seconds. So just to highlight the importance of NAD and keeping your levels high, it's a super, super important molecule.
Critical, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that so Raymond mentioned my favorite M word, which is mitochondria.
It's everything.
Only a nerd would find that word appealing or attractive. But that mitochondrial function, if we look at that closely, if any human being on the planet wants to optimize their energy and vitality, do everything possible to maximize your mitochondrial function, because that is going to lead to more energy. And we should also articulate the fact that mitochondria convert the food that we eat into ATP, energy. And so NMN, or boosting NAD levels, can help to facilitate better mitochondrial function and therefore lead to better cellular energy. It's not like a stimulant like caffeine or other stimulants and things like that. It won't actually deplete your body. And so let's talk about some of the like the use case scenarios, like what other customers have said about using your NMN?
So I suppose when they're reaching that age where NAD starts to decline, people notice, when you're 20 years old, you have so much energy. You can get up after having a massive night and go and do a run. Those things don't even affect you. And we've all been there. We all understand that. As we get older, body aches start to show. You don't recover from injuries as quickly. You might put on weight a lot easier as well than when you used to be able to eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, abuse your body essentially. As you get older, these things, you're not able to do these kinds of things anymore. And that has been attributed to a reduction in NAD. So as our customers are reaching the age, late 40s, 50s, we do have customers in their 60s and 70s as well. But as they're reaching that age where they're still wanting to run marathons, or they're still wanting to go on a walk or go to the beach or just do these normal activities daily, and they're struggling, that's when they come to us and they want to try and find something that can get that youthful vitality back that they're really missing. So yeah, that's what we see a lot, customers who are just wanting to travel, not get as bad jet lag, just to maintain energy levels, all those sorts of things. And that's where we really, really help.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what I've heard about people that use NMN. They definitely say, restoration of their vitality, energy, mitigation of brain fog, particularly after getting sick. I'm not going to mention the virus, but I think everyone knows what I'm referring to there. Any other effects, Raymond?
I think that there's...
So me, myself, sorry, babe.
Oh.
So myself, I mean, this is anecdotal. There's no peer studies about this, but I've struggled for the last sort of 10 years with testosterone levels. So my testosterone levels have never been over 10 and sort of float around 6. And they even got down to about 4.5. So wow. Very low. And I'm currently doing fertility medication at the moment and trying to get these levels up so we can have a better chance at IVF. But I can say with taking NMN, there's been a noticeable difference in my rise of testosterone. And I doubled the dose from 500 milligram to 1 gram and started taking 1 gram a day. And I think it happened within a few months, within 3 or 4 months. So my last test was at 4.5, or sorry, the predominant one was at 4.5 at the lowest point. The next test was at 13.2. So my test at the moment is at 13.2 when it's never been over 10. So yeah, it's definitely
That's awesome.
It's incredible. Hey, there are a lot of there are some studies on reproductive health. So NMN being able to support reproductive health. That's seen in mice as well. I'm not sure. Have you read that study in mice about mice after they've been through menopause? They were given NMN and they had started to go through ovulation again post NMN. Have you read that study before, Lucas?
That's phenomenal, but it actually doesn't surprise me. Like anything that's going to help with like mitochondrial function or like any pathway of fertility. But so what happened there? So it restored the ability for these mice to ovulate.
Again.
I'll tell you another really good one. In David Sinclair's book called Lifespan, he talks about giving NMN to one of his colleagues that gave it to their mother. Their mother had obviously gone through menopause, no longer menstruating. And so after taking NMN, she got a period again. And it's documented in the book about how it brought back on periods for her with taking NMN. And then there's also the story with his father. But I think for reproductive, it's a...
For reproductive health, there's a big... I think there's a big kind of opportunity there. It was crazy, though, when we started to measure Ramon's testosterone levels, because he's been taking HCG, but that was the only thing that he had changed, was just increasing the dose of NMN. I mean, he's over 100 kilos, so, taking 1 gram a day of NMN, showing such noticeable markers on testosterone, was absolutely phenomenal. Exciting for us as well.
From that,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, anything that can, like, we're seeing massive populational decline in testosterone, and I talk about this all the
Yeah.
time on my YouTube channel and my podcast. And
Yeah.
anything that guys can do to maximize testosterone levels, either be through natural interventions or supplementation, is going to lead to a better functioning society. If we're going to have
Yeah.
men that are physically stronger, more resilient, more time, more energy for their kids, more just general vitality, better resilience, better confidence. There's so many benefits associated with boosting testosterone.
Absolutely.
So-
And yeah, I experience it definitely myself. The difference between having it at such a low level to a high level, even just brain fog and being able to think better. And I feel like there's a lot of things that people don't really talk about with testosterone that it actually affects.
Talk us through the process that you both went through in terms of actually getting the product, reviewed by the TGA in that regard. So talk us through that process.
Yeah, for sure. So the TGA is the most stringent set of guidelines and rules of manufacturing supplements essentially within the whole world. So going through that kind of regulatory process, there's a fair bit of red tape, I suppose, a lot of things that you can and can't say, product indications, all of those kinds of things, all the way down to, the name that you give your product, the label design, all those sorts of nuances, I suppose. We had a TGA regulatory consultant who helped us get our brand and our labeling and all of those sorts of things up to scratch. You register as a sponsor, and then you're registered on the ARTG so people can search you up. It's a lot more transparent as well because we have to test everything that we produce. We have to ensure that everything's manufactured in a TGA registered compliant facility, GMP, everything like that.
And that's massive because if you look at the market and a lot of stuff that is produced, there's no regulations. Like people claim GMP, but that's just goods manufacturing processing, where the TGA overlooking people like us with supplements, you can guarantee with what's on the label with us is exactly what you're getting in that capsule.
That's a really, really important point when it comes to any sort of supplementation company, or it's a really heavily, I would say, not scam industry, but I guess like it's very dodgy. Like
there's a lot of snake oil. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so like making sure you're getting high quality stuff, like with a company that puts in the work up front, because obviously there's a big financial investment to so respects that you guys pioneered that.
Thank
you.
And our purity of our N&M is 100%. I see most of it on the internet 99.5, 99.6, and other people, half a percentage isn't much, but when it comes to your health, for us, if it's 100%, it's 100%.
Did you guys both consider, like, was that your very first product that you launched, or did you launch with like multiple products?
No, we launched first with NMN. That was just the key driver, I suppose. I guess we looked at all of the different longevity pathways and we tried to manufacture supplements that would help support each of those pathways. So NMN supports Sirtuins, berberine supports the insulin pathway. Then there's mTOR as well. So we're currently manufacturing a really high quality boutique grade resveratrol that should be finished soon, as well as urethylene A as well. So they're the next two that we will be.
And there's a couple more in the pipeline too, but they're sort of the next ones that are coming out. Our resveratrol comes out of Switzerland. It was actually out of everywhere in the world. This was the best source that we could find, like our other supplements. So yeah, we've got a really, really good supply out of Switzerland. That's a fermentation, and it's a really, really good product.
Yeah, that's a great point. In terms of educating the consumers, like that they can now stack or combine their NMN with resveratrol, because I believe, did David Sinclair talk about that?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's when people are getting a good effect from something, they're always, no matter who they are, everyone's always on the hunt for more. They always
Of
want to,
course, yeah.
you know, like
Optimize everything.
like you just want to push the limits and optimize every other element of your health.
It's so true. That's so
Talk us
true. We have customers asking us, when are you going to start producing this, or when are you going to start manufacturing this? They really want to.
And they have belief in us that we have a good, quality, especially with the TGA. Like, what you're getting is what it is. So for us, I feel like the more supplements we bring out in this industry, and the purity and all the quality that we use, definitely helps people knowing that they're getting what they're getting.
And the fact that you're both responsive to what your customers want is a really critical sign of, healthy business operations, and also the fact that your market is telling you what you need to produce. So just responding to the market demands is a big one. How have you gone about in terms of prioritizing the releases? Has that been challenging to determine which one's next?
Definitely. We want to bring them all out, but everything has to be go through a process, and that's what it is for us.
And it's about finding, I suppose, the right source, the right supply, even where to manufacture. But yeah, it's always third-party testing, making sure that your materials are what they're meant to be, and going through that whole R&D process, I suppose, as well, because we're not going to rush that whole thing just to release the supplement. It's really making sure that it's premium.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the distribution that you guys cover now, is it purely just Australia wide, or are you doing international as well?
Yeah, we do international as well. So we have quite a big market in the US as well as Europe. But
most of the world. Yeah, literally, we try and make it available to everyone. We ship to as many countries as we can. A few of them have pretty strict regulations. A few places in South America, Mexico, but we do our best to get it to everywhere in the world.
That's awesome, because again, a big portion of my listeners listening to this podcast probably based in the US, and I'll make sure for those listening in, there will be a link to purchase Genetic Labs, their products. I'll make sure to leave that linked in the podcast show notes if anyone's listening in, particularly those from the US. Now that you've sort of alluded to the fact that you guys do ship to the US and international, which is great, and support Aussie spirit, I guess, because we have strict quality control standards in Australia.
We do. We have the most strict, I believe, which is great for the consumer. It's always going to be challenging for people like us, but for them, it's the best.
Premium,
you know what you're getting is what you've purchased. So,
well, the best stuff we can source in the world. So, yeah.
What would you say so NMN's number one? What's been the second most popular product?
Berberine, for sure. Yeah, Berberine's massive. It's had a really, really great effect on a lot of people, because it kind of blew up on social media. People calling it nature's Ozempic even. I'm not sure if you've heard of that before, but I'd completely disagree with this. I think it's more like a nature's metformin, if not maybe even better for you than metformin.
Very close to metformin.
Very, very close in the way that it works. So it won't necessarily make you lose weight. I think weight loss depends on a lot of lifestyle factors as well, but this can definitely support you in terms of insulin resistance, all of those things that you need to keep your blood sugars at a healthy level. That's hugely, hugely popular.
And here in Australia, to get metformin, your doctor will only prescribe metformin if you are a diabetic. I don't think there's any other way to get metformin. So therefore, berberine, if you look at the empirical studies with berberine and metformin, very identical, if not sort of suggesting that berberine might be better than metformin. So it's a good thing to be able to go and get it over the counter, or to get it from us instead of going down that route with metformin.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. With the other compounds in your arsenal, was another product you have Fisetin or Fisetin?
Oh, we've looked
into it. Spermidine is one that we're sort of fond of, that we've got in the pipeline at the moment, and urethylene A.
The Urolithin A, has that been heavily demanded by customers? Is that
Yes,
one?
yes, it is. It's very popular. There's some good studies. There's a big company that produce it that have the monopoly, but yeah, it's a very good compound.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, so in terms of like the widespread applications and usage, I mean, would you say majority of customers that are purchasing NMN, do you know the reason why they're purchasing? Like, is it mostly they're concerned with increasing energy? Are they looking at the anti-aging benefits? Like, what might be the main reasons why they're actually purchasing?
I would definitely say lots of our customers purchase due to energy, needing more energy or feeling like they lack energy. The other thing would be to support their muscles. That's the other thing as
Yeah,
well.
for endurance, performance wise,
Performance.
people get feedback that, even younger people that are training in the gym are, yeah. And David Sinclair's dad also, he notes about his father being able to lift more than him, being 80 years old. So there's a reason why it is the most popular and the best in that longevity scene. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually looked at I was watching a video this morning about how people should store their NMN supplements.
Mm.
So did you want to? I actually read that it's best actually not to store the NMN in the fridge.
Correct.
So did you want to sort of explain
We
upon
actually
that?
we have a lot of regulations around where we store our NMN. So the TGA regulates the storage of our products as well as every other component of it. So we write on the label, and also we have to keep it out of direct sunlight, keep it under 25 degrees as well, and it has a shelf life of 2 years. The studies have shown that the purity level could degrade slightly in this time. It's not really significant, and even after 2 years, the purity can degrade. But again, it's not massive. But we do need to make sure that it is sold within that 2 year shelf life, or consumed within that 2 year shelf life.
And then it's in an
Yep.
amber glass as well, which helps with the sunlight, and yeah, being glass and sustainable.
From a medication interaction, from my research, it doesn't really appear to interact significantly with any major medications. What have you guys found in that regard?
I don't believe that there are too many. There are too many interactions with medications. I think that we'll just have to rely on the human trials that come out to be sure of that kind of interactions. I mean, everybody is so different. That's the other thing as well. Like every single person is so individual in terms of their biology and the way that they interact with different kinds of supplementation. So we always recommend talking to a healthcare practitioner, your naturopath, whoever can guide you before starting any new supplementation. The one thing I will say is, because we've just finished all the R&D with our resveratrol, because we're selling the Verity resveratrol, that does have a interaction with warfarin, so you're not able to take any kind of blood thinner, even aspirin. I'd be very careful, because that has an interaction which we also have written on the label as well. So the TGA do regulate us in that respect with resveratrol, so that's a well-known kind of interaction. But
And I think NNM being a naturally occurring substance in the body that we already make, that process is already happening. We're obviously just boosting it. That sort of explains it. Yeah, it's not anything foreign. Our body naturally produces it, which I think helps.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. With the let's say for a complete beginner, do you suggest that they slowly build up the dosage of NMN, or how do you recommend that?
Yeah, for sure. So we always recommend to take 1 to 2 capsules. It depends on your preference, your body size, if you're a male or a female, your composition, all that kind of thing. But anywhere between 1 to 2 capsules 30 minutes prior to eating, to avoid the NMN competing with protein for absorption. You can, start on 1 tablet. We do have people starting on 1 tablet, or who have taken 2 and who've scaled back down to 1, who've just taken 250 milligrams rather than 500 as well. We've got the feedback that it's too strong, or they can't sleep, similarly to what you said before, Lucas, about not being able to sleep. So
And then I guess showing in the capsule what exactly is on the label, what people are taking is what it is. So yeah, even the smaller doses, it's exactly what it is.
Also worthwhile discussing is how people can take other food or consume foods that are rich in polyphenols. So like the reason why you're probably wanting to release the resveratrol is because resveratrol found in red wine has so many health benefits. But also like consuming other foods that are rich in flavonoids, like strawberries being rich in that fisetin, blueberries being rich in pterostilbene. There's all these amazing flavonoids and polyphenols that are found in fruit, like fruit and veggies in particular. Broccoli sprouts rich in sulforaphane. Combining these foods, alongside supplementing with NMN is probably going to have like a synergistic effect on reducing inflammation and supporting bodily functions as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just supplementation is just one part of overall health. You still need to exercise, put your body under small amounts of stress, to increase all of those sorts of things. So whether it's fasting, exercise, training at altitude, all these kinds of things have been shown to improve longevity. So supplementation is just one part. You need to look at what you're eating, what your lifestyle looks like, minimizing stress, that's unnecessary stress, I should say. But yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to longevity and being healthy. And I suppose that's why we really started this business as well, because, you're just kind of taught that, aging is inevitable. Diseases that you get are inevitable. They're just based on your biology. There's nothing you can do about it. So don't bother. Just take this medicine and
when you get to 50, things are going to slow down for you. This is what it is, and that's a lie because aging is negotiable.
Yeah, fully. I mean, I resonate highly with that, and there's a reason why my podcast is called Boost Your Biology, because I'm all about nourishing and revitalizing the human body as we age. But I actually found some pretty cool information about if there's probably people wanting to know like, can we get NMN naturally from certain foods? And I did look up like a bit of a breakdown just to put into perspective. It's very hard to get a huge amount of NMN from food. So you can't actually get a big dose of NMN. The food that scored the highest was actually, or one of the highest was actually avocado.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys, I mean, I love avocado personally.
Same, yeah, we love it. I mean, the amount of avocados you'd have to eat to get even anywhere near close to one capsule would just be enormous. I think it's
sickening.
Not sure how that would go for you.
But
a lot of calories.
A lot of calories, yeah. You'd want to make sure that you're in ketosis or something consuming that much fat, I would say. But yeah, it is, avocados have a lot of NMN in them, but yeah, as Ramon said, it's definitely hard to consume that many.
Yeah. Also, in addition to that, I think, there is some pretty cool research around how coffee can stimulate NAD levels in the body. So I don't know if you've both come across any of that research at all.
Yeah, I have. I've actually heard David Asprey talk about it, about coffee and the link with NMN. And I think there was like an increase in the NMN of 38%, or it was around 30% increase of how the mechanism works, where coffee helps to the processes in converting NMN to NAD. Don't quote me on it, but yes, I can remember seeing something about that coffee actually helps. Where I see other people saying, throw away your coffee if you're having NMN. It's definitely not the case. It's not something that we endorse. Enjoy your coffee, and NMN will help with your coffee.
I speak to clients all the time who, they love drinking coffee. And I say to them, you know what, if you love it, don't stop it, because you're going to hate me if I tell you to stop it.
Yeah.
And there are some pretty good, clinical trials now evaluating the impact on how coffee can actually affect, various types of diseases and, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease. Like, I think in moderation, it's completely fine. If you're smashing like 4 cups of coffee a day and you've got high blood pressure and you're overweight, like it may not be great. But yeah, I think in moderation it can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are a lot of benefits to caffeine as well, but I think it depends on your body too. Some people can tolerate it really well and it can make them perform even better cognitively, but other people will get the jitters, the shakes, they feel sick in the stomach, gut issues, all that kind of stuff. So just finding what works for you. But yeah, I agree, Lucas, because Ramon wanted me to give up drinking coffee at one point, and I thought everything I do day to day, and this is my one pleasure,
Yeah.
I eat the food I don't want to eat. I train even though I don't want to. Let me wake up and have this cup of coffee,
Well, for sure, a lot healthier than drinking alcohol. And I just like I forget there's people in my circle who I just assume everyone around me just doesn't drink, but I just forget that people go out on the weekend and they drink a fair bit of alcohol, and I'm pretty sure alcohol can reduce NAD levels in the body.
Definitely.
Well.
That's why there's I think even David Sinclair says it, that N&M can help with a hangover.
Yeah.
Because obviously with your NAD being depleted to rejuvenate your liver, because a lot of it's done in your liver, by taking N&M and raising NAD levels will help your body to flush the alcohol through.
Yeah. I think it's could potentially form part of like a post-alcohol recovery stack.
True.
Could probably combine that with some other antioxidants and electrolytes and stuff like that. But the thing that really interests me the most, like when it comes to NMN or some of these molecules, is really I used to play semi-professional soccer, so I love anything related to like athletic performance and just getting fitter and stronger and faster. And I think the application for NMN, particularly for like, I look at a lot of different soccer teams out there, like a lot of different, A-League clubs and stuff. And I'm just like, geez, imagine if they actually put in some effort into like looking into things like NMN, because I'm very confident these soccer players would notice better performance on the soccer field if they were using supplements like, NMN.
Yeah. David Sinclair's got a marathon runner who's 50 who wins marathons overall, even not just for his age. And yeah, that's a good story of using N&M for physical performance. And I guess in the future to come, they will be doing testing and there will be something to show this. But I mean, in mice, it's very noticeable. I think they something with the treadmill. They didn't set they set the treadmill to 3 kilometers because no mice had ever run 3 kilometers. And then after supplementing them with N&M, the treadmill actually stopped at 3 kilometers, and they thought they broke it, but it was just the calibration. So it's amazing what it can do for endurance.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I've got a treadmill desk here at home, and I think I've almost burnt it out because the other 2 have caught on fire because I was overdoing it. But this one that I've got next to me is actually yesterday I could smell something. I'm like, what is that smell? I looked down and my treadmill it wasn't on fire, but I was like, it's hot. Like, it's freaking hot. So
melting it.
Yeah.
No NMN for you, Lucas, just in case you burn out the treadmill.
You don't want to be trying it.
Yeah, well, this has been a phenomenal discussion, and I think a lot of my audience will have benefited a lot from today's discussion and hopefully renewed interest in NMN and potentially for those wanting to try it. Like I said, you'll see that linked in the podcast show notes. But otherwise, hats off to both of you for pioneering the company. Again, if people want to, connect with you or find your website, where can they do that?
So it's geneticlabsaustralia.com. We've got TikTok and Instagram as well. So we do our best to reply to all DMs too, or our team will. So please flick us a DM, give us a follow, and someone will get back to you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Ramon and Lydia, for coming on the show. We'll definitely be in touch, and I'll make sure to leave those linked in the podcast show notes.
No worries, Lucas.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Lucas.
very